I guess we're dyeing my hair whilst talking about gender and non-binariness again, but this time, not the hair on my head, my eyebrow hair. Hi, I'm Dee, my pronouns they, them, I'm non-binary and trans, and today I'm going to be talking about gender and expression. Recently over on my Instagram I have been documenting my exploration of my expression recently, and I have received a lot of comments from individuals telling me that I can't be non-binary or trans if I look the way I look, which is ridiculous because non-binariness and transness doesn't have a look. What people are specifically referring to is my more femme-coded attire at the moment, aka wearing skirts and dresses, which we know clothing doesn't equal gender, so I don't know why you would invalidate me and my non-binariness if wearing a dress doesn't make me a woman. But I do want to talk about the difference between gender identity and expression and how these two link, because it is really fascinating, and as somebody who is non-binary, who has spoken a lot about this in their upcoming book, who is a qualified sex educator, it just fascinates me. And as somebody who has been recently dopamine living and dopamine dressing, I've been thinking about it a lot. So let's bleach my eyebrows and talk about gender and expression. First things first, we have to make Dee blind. And then the products I'm using today, just because I feel like I have to show you, are these. Don't really have anything to say about this, so sorry, can't give you a review. Before we talk about gender and expression, I want to outline the 4 components that make us who we are. Now, of course, there are more than just these components, but these are the 4 core components that we talk about within sex education when we're teaching young individuals about themselves. So you have sex, or your assigned sex at birth. You have your gender identity, your sexuality, and your expression. And I will put a little image on screen of the genderbread person, or the unicorn, which we use to show young people exactly where these parts of ourselves manifest in the body, to help just people visualize them and to understand that they are different and can exist on different spectrums, but can still coexist. She's ready. But before we talk about myself, let's talk about the definitions of gender and expression. Gender is how we internally feel about ourselves. Gender is not assigned to us at birth, because gender isn't something you can see, it's how we feel about ourselves. Some folks may be cisgender, which means that their gender identity aligns with the sex they were assigned with at birth. And if somebody isn't cis, they most likely will identify as trans, and that just means that they identify in a way that is different to their sex assigned at birth. Underneath the trans umbrella, you have identities such as non-binary, which is me, genderqueer, gender fluid, gender non-conforming, and many, many more identities. Expression is how we present ourselves to the world. It's our clothing, it's our hairstyle, it's our vibe, it's our tattoos, our jewelry, anything, everything that we show off to the world, that is our expression. And some individuals will use their expression to show their gender, to affirm their gender identity, and you will see this spoken about a lot within the trans community. A lot of trans individuals will dress in a certain way to affirm their identity, in a way that affirms their personal identity. Because somebody's way of expressing their identity may look totally different. We've had an accident. Somebody's way of expressing their identity may look exactly like how you express your identity, but you may identify in totally different ways. And that is because there is no one way of expressing your gender identity, but also not everybody will use their expression to explore their gender identity or to showcase it to the world. But when I first came out as non-binary, I told myself I had to look androgynous because otherwise I would be misgendered. And it wasn't until recently, and I mean within the last few months, that I said to myself, why am I dressing to align myself with my identity when I know I am that identity? And regardless of how I present, people will still perceive me however they want to perceive me and still misgender me. So why not just dress for me? And that's where I came across dopamine dressing. And this is where you dress for yourself and just to make you feel joyful and euphoric. And ever since I started doing that, I have been leaning more into femme-coded items of clothing such as skirts and dresses. And I say femme-coded because not everybody who wears dresses will identify as a girl or a woman, but they may identify with some femininity. I've really enjoyed delving back into skirts because I feel so complete and secure in my identity that wearing a skirt doesn't make me feel uncomfortable anymore. It doesn't make me feel as dysphoric. Of course, it still may do on occasion, but I'm not completely avoiding dresses or skirts entirely now. However, since I started exploring my expression and kind of cultivating what I would call the perfect blend of non-binariness for me, which is a bit of femme, a sprinkle of masc, a little bit of androgyny, all mixed together to create me, I have received so many comments from people telling me that I can't be non-binary or trans if I look a certain way. That if I present in a femme way, that I am not valid as a trans and non-binary individual. And those individuals are wrong. The eyebrows are on, and now we wait. Not too long, because obviously I don't want to lose my eyebrows. But it's just fascinating to me how people care so deeply about how I dress and express myself, and how I don't look a certain way because of my gender identity. So this is my reminder that if you care about how I look and you think I don't look non-binary enough, just go away. You don't have to consume my content. I talk a lot online about exploring my expression and trying on items of clothing that used to scare me when I first came out, because it's really empowering to be able to wear these clothing items now, because I'm so happy in myself, I can wear them, and that's something that I want to celebrate. And it's also something I know a lot of individuals enjoy seeing, particularly non-binary individuals who are still in that weird I have to be androgynous stage. I think I'm probably going to wash these off now. I'm looking a little bit red, so we're just going to pop those on and forget about it. But the alien is back. I want to finish this video by saying, if you are a cisgender individual, please know that you too can explore your gender identity and expression. Your expression doesn't have to align with your gender identity. You can have fun with fashion and expression as well. Regardless of how you identify, your expression and gender identity do not have to match. They can match if you want to. That's also okay. But if you want to experiment and try different things, go for it. Wearing a skirt isn't going to turn you trans. It just might bring some new feelings about. To my baby MBs out there who are currently in the I have to be androgynous stage of your journey, please know you are valid regardless of whether you look androgynous or not. Dress for you, because regardless, people will perceive you and assume things about you. So as long as you enjoy your look, that's all that matters. I am back to myself. No eyebrows, no gender.